This is why Palace website feel like the coolest streetwear drop ever. Every once in a while, a brand comes along that just gets it. They nail their product, their vibe, and most importantly, their online presence. In the world of streetwear, that brand is Palace Skateboards. What's so special about it? Every copy written, every page, every image was carefully created to give users the full Palace experience. But to get it right, I have to give you the brief history of the brand so you can have a better understanding. A cultural powerhouse that's been shaking up the scene since 2009. Back in London in the late 2000s, a group of skaters led by Lev Tandrew are hanging out in a rundown apartment near Waterloo Station. They ironically called this dump the Palace. Little did they know, this inside joke would become a global streetwear sensation. Lev and his crew were tired of the same old skate gear. They wanted something that represented their London roots, something with a bit of edge. So they decided to create their own brand. And just like that, Palace Skateboard was born. But Palace didn't just stick to skateboards. They saw an opportunity in the streetwear market and they seized it. Their first collection, it was all about capturing that 90s British club culture vibe. We're talking tracksuits, hoodies, and tactical pants, all with a distinctly British twist. Palace wasn't content with just being another streetwear brand. They wanted to support their skater friends, pay them well, and give them the recognition they deserve. It was this commitment to the skating community that set them apart from the get-go. Now, keep in mind that Palace rise wasn't overnight, but it was rapid. Their iconic Tri-Ferg logo, designed by Fergus Purcell, became a symbol of cool almost instantly. It was simple, it was striking, and it looked damn good on a t-shirt. It wasn't long before Palace gear was showing up on everyone from the local skaters to well-known figures. Some of the notable names include The Weeknd, Justin Bieber, A$AP Rocky, and Drake. Then there's Jay-Z, Travis Scott, Kanye, along with Playboi Carti, Jonah Hill, and Seth Rogen, and the list goes on. By 2015, just 6 years after their launch, Palace opened their first flagship store in London. 2 years later, they crossed the pond and set up shop in New York. Now, in the early days, Palace didn't need much of an online presence. Word of mouth and their in-store experience were enough. But as they grew, so did the demand for their products. People from all over the world wanted a piece of Palace. And as I said, the Palace website wasn't just a place to sell clothes. Now here we are, scrolling through the endless sea of streetwear brands online, and suddenly, bam, you land on Palace's homepage. But it's not what you expected. No flashy banners, no product overload, just 4 variations of their iconic Tri-Ferg logo staring back at you in red, whitish gray, blue, and black. It's bold, it's minimalist, and it's totally Palace. This right here is breaking all the e-commerce rules, but that's exactly why it works. See, when you land on the Palace site, the first thing you notice is how clean it is. We're not talking minimalist here. There's plenty going on, but everything has its place. The layout is intuitive. You've got your main categories right in these logos. Shops, web shops, Palace Beams Plus, which is their latest collab with the Japanese streetwear brand, and let me tell you, these drops are fire. But back here at the home page, we also have this 4th category called Advice, which is a sort of news page. It's easy to navigate, but it doesn't feel boring. Why? Because of the visuals. And speaking of visuals, let's pivot slightly to something that's revolutionizing the way designers work. Imagine you're crafting your brand's identity, something as impactful as Palace's minimal yet bold aesthetic. Here's the challenge though. We all know that traditional design tools for designers often complicate rather than simplify the creative process, especially when you need flexibility and speed. This is where Kittle steps up. With Kittle, the game changes. You have multiple artboards that allow you to experiment with designs in parallel, adjusting and iterating in real time without losing the flow of your creativity. For any designer, this means you can rapidly prototype and refine elements to ensure everything gels just as strongly as the visual storytelling you see on Palace's website. But it's not just about flexibility, it's also about effectiveness. Kittle offers a brand board template that's streamlined, creating a consistent brand image. These templates help designers keep every piece of branding, from web graphics to merch, aligning with your brand's core aesthetic. Look at how fire this design is with this angel holding up the rifle that was made on Kittle. Just as Palace maintains a cohesive vibe across all its platforms, Kittle equips you to do the same, making sure that every part of your brand communicates the right message. I always say, you don't have to break the bank to have a great brand. If you want to take your brand to the next level, try Kittle for free using my link in the description. But to get back to the site, Palace doesn't need anything else here because their logo itself is powerful. Triangles are a big deal in design because they're dynamic and meaningful. Unlike other shapes, triangles give off a sense of direction and movement, and they're super stable. Author Jessica Helfand talks about this in her book, Design, The Invention of Desire. She explains how triangles can feel balanced, but also create energy and tension depending on how they're placed. That's why brands often use them in logos. They grab attention, look strong, and leave a lasting impression. Also, don't you feel like every triangle is saying, click me, you won't regret it? Because I do. It's like falling into a vortex, but it's cool. Also, down here are their socials, fit guide, and if you're really paying attention, you'll spot this boring stuff section. I'm pausing here because I was telling you how Palace wants to keep that authenticity and humor. You can actually see it here. Click on it, and what's the boring stuff? Policies, terms, and conditions. I mean, I don't know about for y'all, but for me, it's boring indeed. But labeling it like that is just pure genius. Now let's go back and click through to their web shop, and that's where their magic really happens. You're hit with this infinite scroll of products that just keep going and going. It's like the streetwear equivalent of a never-ending candy store. You find yourself thinking, just one more scroll, or what's that piece? Before you realize, you've been browsing for an hour. And that's also because the site is fast, it's smooth, and they do a good job optimizing their web design factors like their image size, content cache, and load balancing. Sometimes not having animations are an amazing way to enhance your website experience because there's nothing more annoying than a slow web browser when you're thinking about purchasing a product. But here's the real genius move. Hover over any product and boom, the price appears like magic. No clicking, no fuss, just smooth, frictionless shopping. It's these little touches that make the whole experience feel so well Palace. Each product gets multiple high quality images showing you every angle. You can zoom in to see the details as well. Now, get this. Palace has managed to translate the unique brand vibe into almost every section of their site. That bold, irrelevant attitude that made them famous, it's all over their product shots and descriptions. It's like browsing through a super cool magazine rather than your stereotypical online store. Take the description of this cool jacket from the Palace Beam Plus collab. Just had a life-changing hamburger. And check this one for the orange one. 4 hours of sleep a night. You crazy boy. I take that ish down in the afternoon. I don't know about you, but this isn't just thinking outside the box. This is destroying the box entirely. It feels like you're chatting with your mans about the product and you're not reading a corporate description of a product listing. And does that make a difference, you may ask? Absolutely. Because remember, this isn't a corporate brand. It's something for hypebeast people, and this is exactly what we want. Now, all of this comes to its visual identity as well and how it's expressed through their web design. Palace has cultivated a distinct aesthetic that blends skateboarding culture, streetwear, and high fashion into something totally fresh and original. Their website perfectly captured this vibe. The color palette is bold and eye-catching, with the homepage showcasing their logo. This creates an energetic feel that matches Palace's attitude while still maintaining a clean, premium look. I know a lot of people might think that the most effective design are the most eye-candy ones, but that's not really true. I'm not really going to discuss that, but their typography also plays a part, and of course their typography is a key part of Palace's visual language, and it's used to great effect throughout the site. Product names and descriptions are set in Palace signature, chunky all caps sans serif that feels both modern and nostalgic. This consistent use of typography creates a cohesive brand experience across all touch points. Fast forward forward to today, and Palace Skateboards isn't just a brand, it's a cultural powerhouse. They've collaborated with everyone from Adidas to Ralph Lauren, and their iconic Tri-Fork logo is recognized worldwide. But here's the thing, in this crowded world, having a cool product isn't enough. Like what I said, you have to stand out online too. I mean, we are in the year 2024. When a brand is starting to grow and it's starting to reach people outside their inner circle, let's say losing its original intention. Think about it. How can a brand that was born out of a rebellious spirit to be different, innovative, and for such a specific audience of streetwear enthusiasts continue to grow while still keeping that same vibe? Look what happened to Supreme. After seeing that red logo everywhere, it almost feels like they've sold out to the mainstream while other brands were going corporate. Palace tried so hard to stay true to its roots. Tanju still owns the brand, and their commitment to skate culture hasn't wavered. And the best part is, that authentic vibe isn't just in their clothes, skateboards, or any accessory with the triangle logo. It's also in their humor. It's about that uniquely British mix of high and low culture. I just showed you guys an example from their copy on their website. Now compare all of this to a competitor like Stussy. Don't get me wrong, Stussy's great, but their site feels, well, kind of generic in comparison. When you land on Stussy's homepage, the vibe is different right away. Instead of being hit with bold logos like on Palace, Stussy keeps it simple with a big image, usually from a campaign or showing a product, and their logo is just a small wood mark tucked away in the corner. The focus is more on visuals than branding in your face. Don't get me wrong, Stussy is still a dope brand, but I'm just talking about in terms of comparisons. It's all very sleek and high-end, sure, but where's the personality? Where's the excitement? So in comparison, Palace has figured out how to make their site feel different. This is the key takeaway that I want you guys to get from this video. It's not about you having a great eye candy look website. It's about you personalizing your experience for your audience and try to build up your community in the most authentic way you possibly can. It's not just shopping, it's an experience. And you're not just buying clothes, you're buying into the whole Palace lifestyle. So what's the takeaway here? Palace isn't just selling clothes. They're selling an experience, a community, and a lifestyle. They've taken everything that makes them unique as a brand and baked it into every aspect of their website. It's bold, it's different, and it's crushing the competition. In the world of streetwear, where hype is currency, Palace has figured out how to keep fans coming back day after day, drop after drop. They're not just playing the e-commerce game, they're changing it. And that is how you build a streetwear empire in a digital age. What y'all think? Are you with me on this, or am I bugging? Let me know in the comments. By the way, if you enjoyed this video, I think you will find value in this video as well. Alright y'all, this is Lee from North Studios. Next time, I'm out of here.